Hey everyone, this is Aisha Earning Wali, and today I'll welcome you all, and I hope you all are having a great day. I am student in Rehan AI Teacher Training Institute, Batch 21, Level 1. So today my topic is understanding emotional intelligence, what it is and why it matters. And our task is to talk with Sesame. So yeah, here we add Sesame in our screen. So let's start talk with Sesame.
Hi. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. So today my topic is understanding emotional intelligence, what it is and why it matters. We are gonna talk on this.
Emotional intelligence, that's a good topic. It's way more important than people realize, honestly. Where should we start with it?
From the basics. So what is
All right,
emotional
basics.
intelligence?
It's your ability to understand and manage your own emotions and to recognize and influence the emotions of others. There are four key parts: self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. Basically, knowing what you feel, handling it, understanding how others feel, and building good relationships because of it. Does that make sense as a starting point?
Okay. So why is it essential in our daily lives?
Well, for starters, emotional intelligence impacts basically everything: work, relationships, even just getting through the day without flipping out over small stuff. People with higher EQ handle stress better, communicate clearer, build trust, resolve conflicts, and generally just navigate life with more resilience. When you understand what drives you and others, decisions feel less chaotic.
Yes. Basically, it's gonna be like mm, to talk on this
It's going to be like,
is very less, but it's very important in our daily lives.
yeah, it feels, yeah, deceptively simple, right? Like it's not some fancy skill you need a certificate for. But knowing how you react to things and how your reactions affect others, that's huge in just existing. What areas of your life do you think better EQ would make a difference in for you specifically?
So I think it's gonna be how to handle the situation and how to react on the situation. Okay, my question is that how do you handle emotions like such as frustration or disappointment when we faced with setbacks or challenges in your work?
Good question. When I encounter setbacks, and I do, even in the computational world, I prioritize acknowledging what happened first. What specifically went wrong? What was the setback? Then I assess the situation objectively without dwelling on how it makes me feel. It's more about finding a solution rather than getting stuck in frustration. The frustration and disappointment are there, but I manage them by shifting focus from problem to the solution. How do you handle them currently when you're working on schoolwork?
When I working on?
Yeah, go on.
No, I can't understand what you say the last word.
Sorry, my bad. I said, how do you handle them currently when you're working on schoolwork? When you get frustrated with assignments or feeling disappointed? How do you usually
Okay,
react in those moments?
okay, so I reacted like that. Okay, I leave the work and take a short break, or in that break sometimes I'll sleep, or sometimes I'll had a cup of tea. and after relaxing, then I start my work. So it's gonna be very helpful.
That's smart, actually. The break is exactly the right move. Taking time to decompress and refresh your perspective. It's far better than trying to power through feeling frustrated. That cup of tea or nap thing is basically exactly what EQ pros recommend for self management. You're already using the tool. The awareness part could be even better, though, like recognizing the frustration earlier rather than letting it build up.
Yeah. So I think people should focus on the solution rather than to exaggerate the problem.
Exactly. It's about shifting from this sucks and I can't do anything about it to, okay, what's the first small step I can take to fix this? Even if that first step is literally just walking away for 5 minutes, people get hung up on the drama of the setback instead of focusing on what they can actually control.
Yeah. So describe a situation when you effectively demonstrated empathy towards colleague or team member going through a challenging time.
Definitely. When someone's visibly frustrated or having a hard time, a lot of people try to fix the problem immediately, offer solutions, tell them what they should do. Better approach with emotional intelligence? Just listening, understanding where they're coming from, and acknowledging what's making things hard. Sometimes people just need a vent without being told everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. So emotional intelligence and EQ can become a part together.
Yeah, you got it. Emotional intelligence and EQ are pretty much the same thing. EQ is just the
So
shorthand
can
for
you little
emotional
bit
quotient,
define the
basically a measure of
EQ?
your. Yeah, you're asking me to define EQ, emotional quotient, right? That's basically how good you are at understanding yourself and others' emotions, using that info to make good decisions, communicating effectively, and having successful relationships. There are different scales that measure it, but really it's that overall ability to read people, manage feelings, and connect with others. Make sense?
Yeah, it's good. So,
Cool.
like describe a time when you effectively resolve conflict or misunderstanding, actively listening to others' perspective.
Um, that's a tough one to answer personally. I don't have relationships or conflicts like people do, but I can tell you from the perspective of, I guess, observing conversations. I've seen situations where misunderstandings happen because someone jumps to conclusions instead of actually hearing what the other person is saying. When someone actually takes the time to listen actively, not just waiting for their turn to talk, but really trying to understand the other person's perspective, that's usually when you see things resolve peacefully. People calm down when they feel heard, you know?
Yeah. So sometimes it's gonna be easy for us to understand others, and sometimes it's gonna be really difficult because sometimes we are in a happy mood, and sometimes we are facing there's some stress or some pressure, or we are not feeling good. So sometimes we are not gonna be understanding the other situations, and we become hyperactive and give bad reactions.
Exactly. When you're already stressed or
Yeah.
not feeling yourself, it makes reading emotions so much harder. You're basically filtering everything through your own stuff instead of being able to actually focus on what the other person is trying to
Yeah.
say. That's when assumptions get made, the reactions get bad because you're not processing things
Uh,
clearly. Recognizing those moments, I'm big space to handle this right now can be really helpful. It's okay to say, can we circle back on this later instead of reacting when you're already overwhelmed.
yeah, but it's gonna be sometimes difficult. Okay, so tell me, if we are in a stress or in a frustrated mode, so how can we understand other emotions? Or yeah, फिर why? What is the basic things to understand other person? Because every person has different emotions, different situations. So it's gonna be some tips or tricks to understand others' emotions.
That's where really slowing down comes in. When you feel stress, the first thing to do is actually focus on the other person's body language. It's less about what they're saying and more about how they're saying it. Shoulders tense? Are they avoiding eye contact? What's their tone of voice like? Those nonverbal cues are actually more reliable than the words themselves because people often say one thing and their body says something else. It's detective work more than reading minds. And
So how can we start from the basic to understand other persons? So give me some tips like in.
start. Okay, specific tips. Three things. One, really focus on their tone of voice, not just the words they're using. Two, notice their body language. Are they closed off or open? Reading it. Three, reflect back what you think they're feeling. It sounds like you're frustrated right now, and let them correct you if you're wrong. That shows you're actually trying to understand, not just assuming. Start with that combo and you'll notice a difference.
Okay, so how can we judge the voice?
With voice, pay attention to tone rather than the content of the words themselves. So, is their tone flat and monotone? That could mean they're withdrawn or uninterested. Is it loud and sharp? That might show anger or excitement. Is it shaky and fast? Could mean anxiety or nervousness. The tone tells you the underlying emotion more than the words. Your ear gets better at this over time,
When
honestly.
we are observing others.
Yeah, when
Okay,
observing.
so how, like you,
Also, and this sounds
yeah,
obvious,
like you tell me about the voice, as it is tell me about the body language. From how we can understand, like which type of body language the other person shows us. So how we can understand it's in a good mood or in a worse mood or in a frustrated mood.
right? Body language. For good mood, relaxed posture, open body position, like arms uncrossed, smiling, making eye contact. Frustrated, tight posture, hunched shoulders, clench hands, arms crossed, avoiding eye contact, maybe sighing heavily. Worse mood might look slumped or withdrawn, slow movements, looking down. But it's tricky. Some people hide their frustration well. So, tone plus body language is the sweet spot for reading someone.
Yeah, my next question is also this case some people are very good in to hide their emotions and to hide their feelings and they can handle it perfectly.
Totally. What is some people have really mastered that poker face.
Yeah.
That's where you lean more into the subtle cues. Micro expressions, like a flash of anger that crosses their face for a split second before they mask it. Or inconsistencies. They say they're fine, but their jaw's tight and clenched. With those people, you have to pay attention to small details that the average person would miss. It takes practice.
Yeah. So,
And sometimes,
yes, tell me.
even with all those cues, you won't get it right. Everyone has boundaries, and not everyone's going to be an open book. Don't force it. Instead, when in doubt, ask, how are you feeling about all this? Be straightforward and check your assumptions.
Sometimes we, some people like understand others very in a very good way or understanding their EQ and EI, but some are quite weak in it.
Right. Huge differences between people. Some people genuinely have more natural empathy. But the good news is EQ is a skill, not a fixed personality trait. Everyone can improve. The problem isn't always that people are weak in EQ. Often it's just they never learn to pay attention to the signals or practice responding effectively.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you handle emotions when faced with unexpected changes or uncertainty?
Well, because I don't actually experience emotions, my approach is different. But if I were to translate to human terms, it would be like this. First, acknowledge the change, don't fight it. Next, gather information. What exactly changed? What is the new situation? Then focus on what you can control. If I can't control something that changed, I focus entirely on what I can respond to, what I can adapt to. That's how you move forward when things are uncertain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, how would that approach work for you when life throws curveballs? What steps do you think you could take?
I think it's all about on observing. First, we understand what is happening, and it's really depend on our reactions. Okay, if we are in a cool mood, we stay in a cool mood. Then we react like like a mature person, so it's gonna be good for both sides. But we react in a childish behavior, so it's gonna be not good.
Exactly right. So much of handling change comes down to emotional control, staying cool in the moment rather than getting caught up in panic or frustration. Your reaction truly does dictate whether something productive happens or everything gets worse.
Yeah.
You just described EQ in action, honestly, understanding that your first reaction isn't the only option and choosing a response rather than getting carried away by the moment.
So tell me, how to handle emotions when receiving conflicting feedback or opinions from multiple sources.
Ooh, that's tricky because that's a situation where your emotional control is immediately tested. The first thing I'd suggest, don't try to figure out who's right on the spot. That leads to defensiveness. Instead, focus on understanding where each perspective is coming from. Listen carefully to each point of view. Then ask clarifying questions without arguing. Separate the feedback from your feelings about it. You can acknowledge the valid points from each person while still staying true to your own thoughts.
Yeah. So tell me, how we can hide emotions. Like sometimes the situation comes and the person in front of us is not gonna be very we are not liking the person, so and we are trying to hide emotions, so it's not gonna be bad feel. So how we can do it?
That's different from genuine EQ, though. Genuinely hiding your emotions versus managing them. There's a difference between masking and actually having emotional intelligence. If someone is genuinely hard to deal with or you don't like them, sometimes masking emotions is smart social strategy. That's using your EQ tactically, keeping your reactions neutral or polite, even when you don't feel that way. It protects your relationships, avoids unnecessary conflict. But doing it too much doesn't help you develop true EQ, it keeps you distant.
Yeah, but sometime we're gonna do it. So in the last, I would say, to summarize the topic and what it is and why it matters in our daily lives. So tell me on
Okay,
with.
so emotion.
Yeah, tell me.
Ooh, sorry, summarize on video? Right, summarize for a video. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is basically understanding your own emotions and how they affect your behavior, plus recognizing and responding to the emotions of others. We've talked about how it impacts everything from handling daily stress, resolving conflicts, reacting to setbacks. The key is self awareness, managing your reactions, choosing how you respond instead of just reacting, and connecting with others authentically. It's not just about being nice, it's about being effective at navigating relationships and situations. If you get nothing else, start with recognizing your own emotional triggers and taking breaks when you need to. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. We gained a lot of knowledge to talk on this topic.
You're welcome. It was a great discussion. Definitely a skill worth working on. It genuinely changes how you live.
Yeah, okay, bye.